Dr. Mel again. And now we're going to take the graphs and everything that we've done with motion and come up with equations. Kinematic, meaning the movement. And we're going to put that kinetic energy into movement. So let's jump right in and do a little revision. Displacement, we've done. Displacement will always mean the change in position. And remember, displacement, it's encircled in red, it's a vector. Have the vector and scalar lesson very fresh in your mind when you do this, because it's important for you to know. The second change will be of displacement, which will then in that certain time give me the velocity. How fast is it going, or how slow is it going? And the gradient of this displacement will give me my velocity. And finally, the change in velocity, if you're going faster or you are slowing down, you actually have accelerated in a negative or in a positive way. So make sure that you know, are you working with velocity or are you working with displacement or position? And then make sure that you've got the right units, meter per second for velocity and meter per second square for acceleration. Right, let's start. Can you remember that we had a graph, velocity time, that went up? That means velocity is changing. So I've got an initial velocity here and I've got a final velocity there. If you remember, we actually made a equation with ticker tape that gave me the acceleration. Acceleration then was the change in velocity over the change in time. That was exactly what you did when you found the gradient for a velocity time graph as well. So in ticker timer, as well as in graphs, we use the change in velocity over time. The change in velocity is usually the final minus the initial over the change in time. And now I'm going to start manipulating the equation to find my movement equation or kinematic equation. Be careful, you never have to deduct this, but it's always better to understand where it comes from. So I've got A equals VF minus VI over delta T. You know, if I want to take the T away, you actually multiply with T on both sides, which gives me A delta T equals VI minus V. Let's change this around to write it down like this. I just changed that part on the equal sign. This will give me the final velocity. I'm taking away the initial, the minus. It becomes then a plus this side. And if you look at your page with your equations, you'll see VF equals VI plus A delta T. That's your first equation. And you can use that, obviously, when you have all the values. We will signify values with certain symbols. We said initial velocity. We said final velocity. We said time, which is usually a change in time. Therefore, we use delta. We've got the displacement, which will be x. And please remind yourself, x will mean in the horizontal direction. And then finally, acceleration. Can you remember the units? Quickly think, what's the unit for velocity? Meter per second. Final and initial. And time will be seconds. The displacement will be in meters. And the acceleration, remember, it's velocity over time, so it's meter per second square. Make sure that you know that the first equation is the final velocity equals the initial velocity plus the acceleration times the time. That will be the first equation on your information sheet, and you will just actually substitute those symbols with values if you have them. Let's go to the second equation. The second equation is built on the graphs that we just did, where we say the area of velocity time will give me, please have a little thought, of velocity time will give me delta x. I will get the displacement from velocity time. The area is, well, if you have a look at this, you've got a triangle up there, and I've got a rectangle down here. Please bear in mind, I'm not starting at 0 meter per second. So let's go back and complete this equation. So what do I have? I have half base, which is time. Am I correct? Yes. And I've got height for that part, which is the velocity. It's the initial velocity deducted from the final velocity, plus this portion here will be my rectangle, and that will be my time times my velocity. Have you got that difference that you have to know? So let's rewrite this in a neater fashion. I've got VI delta t, which I got there from my triangle, plus half of the velocities times t. And I can now actually substitute that with the following. That was actually my acceleration. Can you remember from my first equation, which is that I can say acceleration is actually Vf minus Vi over delta t. And I'm now going to substitute that in this part where I've got Vf minus Vi. So I've got Vi delta t plus half, and Vf minus Vi is actually Ra delta t. And look what you will find now. Your second equation will be plus A delta t squared. Please remember the squares. Please remember the signs. So the second equation I will be using is delta x equals Vi delta t plus a half A delta t squared. Be careful that you use the right equation when you get there. Right, let's go to the next equation. This is a bit more challenging because we don't use trapeziums. But again, I've got this graph. The area of a trapezium is actually half the sum of the sides plus the distance between the sides. Sorry, that's a multiply. Okay, so I've got the sum of the sides, which is actually on this side, it is Vf plus Vi, that's the sum. And the distance between the sides is delta t because it was this. This was the size, Vi and Vf. Again, I've got the area of velocity time. It's delta x. And it now equals to Vf plus Vi delta t. And I'm going to remove that half immediately to make it more easier for us to understand and more applicable. Right, what I have here is Vf plus Vi times delta t. And I'm again going to substitute t with, remember what we did in this equation? We actually found a value for delta t, and I'm going to substitute delta t with Vf minus Vi over A. So this is going to be Vf plus Vi, and here I'm going to have Vf minus Vi over A. I'm going to take the A away and put it this side, which leaves me with Vf plus Vi multiply with Vf minus Vi. And as you know, I can substitute that with Vf squared minus Vi squared. And you'll find your next equation will actually be Vf squared equals Vi squared plus 2a delta x. Let me go back to the equation that we just did. So we've got that as one equation. Then I worked out 2a delta x equals Vf. So Vf equals, if I take that Vi that side, it would be Vi squared plus 2 delta x. It was just an exercise for you to see, how do I get to that equation? This will be given to you on an information page. So then don't get anxious. You'll get all of these. I just quickly took you through the steps how to work out the 3 equations. Remember, it's horizontal, it's x. The a will always be constant. We don't work with change in acceleration. And then when we choose our direction, we usually choose it's moving that way, so that will be positive. It's moving up, it will be positive. Make sure that you take these 3 bullets as a very important factor when you read your questions. Let's do quickly the 3 equations together. So, it will be provided on the information sheet. Final Vi delta A delta T. Just bear in mind that equation doesn't have the displacement in it. So you can't use that one if you have either the displacement asked or given. This one doesn't have the, have a look, I, A, T, and X. There's no final velocity. In this one, they don't provide me with time. You deducted all 3 of them just now with me. The last one given on the information page, I'm writing down here, it's average velocity. You are adding the 2 velocities and you're getting the average. I would suggest that you just cross that out and don't work with that, because you sometimes really don't understand why it's average. So I don't use that one. But you are welcome, if you know that it's average, to work with that one. So be very careful. So bear in mind, you will be given those 3 equations. I quickly want to clean it. You know those are the 3 that you're going to use. And please make sure that you identify the initial, the final, the acceleration, and the time. How will it be asked? They will say a bus accelerates, so you know there's an A, from rest. So immediately you know the initial will be 0 to 60. So the final will be 60 and the delta t will be 5. They're asking me work out the acceleration, so it's A. So you go and have a look through the 3 equations, what's asked and what do you have. So the one I'll choose, because I do not have delta x, will be Vf equals Vi plus A delta t. Do I have values? Yes. So this will be your first mark when you write an exam or a test. Your final is 60. Your initial was 0. You accelerated with a value that you've got to calculate, and the time is 5. So if we then do the math, we'll find 60 over 5 equals A, and that you know is 12 meter per second square. There's no direction, so you'll say forward or in the same direction. Did you get the first mark? I hope. The second mark will usually be for substitution, and the final mark will be for the answer. Now they're asking me the distance. So they're asking me delta x again in 5 seconds. So I've got the acceleration now. It's 12. So now I just have to go and calculate the delta x. In actual fact, I can use any of the two remaining equations. Let's quickly clear these, and we know the distance will be delta x. And can you recall what the equation is? It's vi delta t plus a half a delta t squared. The other one is also an equation that you can use because you've got the values. It is vf squared equals vi squared plus 2a delta x. They are actually asking you to find the delta x. And you can see it's much easier if you use this side than that side because you'll have to do some manipulation. Let's complete the left-hand side with 0 plus a half. We calculated that as 12, and we know it's in 5 seconds. And please remember the square. So you calculate that one, and you'll find an answer of 150 meters, and it will be in the positive direction. If you did this one, you could also get it done. Just bear in mind that you now have to divide the 3,600, which is 60 square, with the 24 to find delta x. And if you do the calculation, you'll find exactly the same answer. So it doesn't really matter which one you use. Choose the one that you have most of the information with and go with it. Right. Did we work out the acceleration? Yes, we did. We knew that that was 12. And finally, the distance covered was 150 meters. So that's the kind of questions that will be posed to you when you get your equations. Right, let's have a look at this one. The object moves at a constant velocity. Now, what does that mean? It says it started and its final velocity will be 20, which also means, have a look, 0 acceleration. So these are the kind of things that you've got to read into these with a time of 8 seconds. It then slows down, so you know it will be an acceleration in a negative way for a further 5 seconds, and it stops. So what is the displacement in the first 8 seconds? They're asking you delta x. How will you work out delta x? So let's go ahead. We've got the final and the initial velocity as 20. We've got the delta t as 8, and they want the displacement. So what will you use? I'll probably use that one because it's easy to have the one that I want this side. And you will say this is 20 times 8, and there was no acceleration in the first 8 seconds. This will give me an answer of 160 meters. Easy. You just had to look, where do I substitute the values? So let's carry on. What is the acceleration during the last 5 seconds? What do we know about the last 5 seconds? It started with 20. It stops. What does that mean? It stops. It's 0. How long did it take to stop? 5 seconds. So I will immediately go to the easy equation and say, right, if I want to work out the acceleration, I've got it stopping. I know it started with 20. I need that, and that will be in 5 seconds. 20 goes that way, minus 20 equals 5a. A will thus be 20 divided by 5, and it's negative. So the value will be minus 4 meter per second square, and that will be, let's say, to the right. And now a new concept. You have to present your answer in a positive way. Not just thinking positive, but actually presenting it as positive. So minus 4 to the right will actually be 4 meter per second square to the left. And this will earn you an additional mark in the exams. Let's quickly have a look at the mark. You will get a mark for the equation. You'll get a mark for substituting the symbols. You'll get a mark for the answer, and it needs to be in the positive way that you put it. You cannot present an answer in a negative way. The distance in the last 5 seconds. Delta x equals vi delta t plus a half a delta t square. It started with 20 and I'm now working with 5 seconds, and the acceleration that I worked out was, what did we do in this one? It was minus 4. So now we can just say minus 4 and it's 5 square. Remember your square, guys. We often forget to put the square in there. This will be 100 plus a half of 4 is 2 times 25 will be minus 50. And that will give me an answer of 50 meters, which makes sense because it was going slower. So bear in mind that you always have a look what's given and what's asked. And as soon as you can substitute the values into the right equation, do your accurate math and you'll probably get to the correct answer. I'm not going to do this one with you, but I'm giving you the answer. Let's go through this. A racing car is traveling north, so immediately north will be my positive direction. It accelerates uniformly, so it's the same acceleration. The distance it covers is 725 meters in 10 seconds. So what do I learn? I learn it's accelerating, so you know it's accelerating. The distance will be 725 meters and the delta t will be 10 seconds. They say it's got an initial velocity of 10 meter per second and they're asking you to calculate the acceleration. And I did it and I got 12.5 meter per second, and that's not the only part of the answer. You need to put in it will be in a northerly direction. I specifically left it out so that I can show you from the beginning. I allocated the positive as north, so my answer is positive, so that also needs to be north. Right, to summarize the whole idea of equations, you know where it came from. You don't have to know that. You have to be able to use these equations to solve problems. It's only horizontal. You have to perform the manipulation of the math. And guys, be careful. Remember square. If there's VF square and you need to calculate just VF, remember the square root. Small little mathematical ideas that sometimes we forget those things when we're busy with physics. And then I usually draw a little diagram. It started there, it's going there, it's going back. It's much easier if you can see where you go to actually do the calculations. We will do a lot of these calculations when we go on to momentum and we work with vertical projectiles in other areas of physics. But for now, know the 3 equations, you know you're getting it, and enjoy working with it. You usually do very well in this section. Bye-bye.